life's biggest questions. What would happen if Cthulhu was real? Wanna know? Well, be sure, YouTube, whatever they say it. So, if you guys don't know who's Cthulhu, so Cthulhu is a fictional comic entity created by writer H.P. Lovecraft. So anyways, it was made by H.P. Lovecraft. And it first introduced in a short story called The Call of Cthulhu, which I have not seen. Published in the American Plop magazine, Weird Tales Plop magazine. Oh, that's creepy. Weird Tales in 1928, considered a great old one. Within the pantheon of Lovecraft comic entities, the creature has since been featured in numerous popular culture references. Okay, now you know who is he. He's like a octopus, a dragon, and a type of human with the brain of a human. You can see this is him right there. So we are gonna be reacting to him. Okay, whatever, let's just get started. Life's biggest questions. I don't have...
Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. The world can be a pretty scary place. While science continues to help us understand more and more about the universe, there are still many great mysteries out there. One such mystery is that of Cthulhu, the great power first described in Lovecraft's short story, The Call.
That's creepy. The Call of Cthulhu.
But what if this ancient being was not bound to the pages of books, but did in fact exist? How might the world change if this creature made itself known? Let's explore. If you want more What If videos, check out our Biggest What Ifs playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if Cthulhu was real? Since Cthulhu isn't exactly well known by the everyman, I'll start off with a brief description of the mythos surrounding the creature. It should be noted that Lovecraft originally intended the name to be pronounced closer to Cthulhu, because it originates in an alien language that can't be properly spoken by humans. However, the easier form, Cthulhu, is more prevalent, so that's what I'll be using in this video. Which is great because I haven't spoken alien since high school, so I'm a bit rusty. Cthulhu is believed to have been born on the planet Vorl in the 23rd nebula from Nug and Yev, before traveling to Earth with his family and
well, apparently this guy hasn't spoken alien since high school.
Shape-shifting worshippers called the Starspawn. Here, great wars were held between his group and other mythical races, eventually giving way to peace as they decided to share the Earth. Cthulhu later began hibernating in the
Stop it! Video.
sunken city of Relit, where, according to legend, he remains to this day. However, legend speaks of cults that continue to worship the old god even while he lies dormant. Physically, Cthulhu was described by Lovecraft as, quote, a monster of vaguely anthropoid outline, but with an octopus-like head whose face was a mass of feelers, a scaly, rubbery-looking body, prodigious claws on hind and forefeet, and long, narrow wings behind. It has been described as a hideous combination of a man, an octopus, and a dragon. Generally depicted as being hundreds of meters tall, Cthulhu was seemingly created with the intent of striking fear and disgust into the hearts of men. This proved to be highly relevant in the myths, as is claimed that merely gazing upon Cthulhu would cause the viewer to go insane. The myths say that Cthulhu will eventually awaken from its slumber and will rise to once again take over the world. So let's imagine a world where this beast existed. How might it differ from the world we know? Well, if Cthulhu remained asleep, nothing much would change. Those who found the creature deep in the ocean would go insane and likely die before even telling others about the find. Even if they made it back to land, their stories wouldn't be believed, due both to the extraordinary claims and, more importantly, their lack of sanity. However, even a dormant Cthulhu certainly isn't impotent. According to legend, Cthulhu continues to influence the world in a few ways. For one, its telepathic abilities allow it to enter the minds of people around the world. Not only that, the followers of Cthulhu are believed to be constantly working to bring about the god's return, often engaging in human sacrifice. However, if Cthulhu were to be awoken, it would be a very different story altogether. If Cthulhu awoke and began roaming the earth, madness would sweep the globe. All who saw the beast would go insane, with the world quickly falling apart. Cthulhu would likely surface in the South Pacific, as that's where Relet is believed to be. He would either travel east towards Chile or west towards New Zealand. When word spread of the mass insanity due to a giant elder god, countries around the world would do whatever possible to take it out, regardless of the collateral damage. Nuking New Zealand, as horrific as it would be far better than allowing the world to fall into madness. Unfortunately, humanity's attacks would likely be ineffective. In most depictions of Cthulhu, it's claimed that it would simply reform after destruction if hit with a nuclear bomb, much much like it did in one story after being cut in half. Furthermore, it could be that the Earth would become overrun by the spawn of Cthulhu. It's believed by some that this alien race known for worshipping the Great One was created by Cthulhu himself, and upon awakening, he would once again bring them to life, to act as his foot soldiers and to lead the human slaves. As if the hulking behemoth wasn't enough to deal with.
Interesting. Up till now.
Now we'd have terrifying, shape-shifting creatures in the mix. This would make it essentially impossible for humanity to come out on top, or even find a place to hide. All this means that humanity would be more or less powerless to stop Cthulhu, who would take over the Earth, once again reclaiming it for itself and its worshippers. Those humans who survived might be allowed to keep their sanity in return for subservience, but the Earth and humanity as we know it would likely be gone forever. And now we return to our question, what if Cthulhu was real? Well, if it stayed asleep at the bottom of the ocean, the world would be much the same, aside from the odd sacrifice and confusing dream. However, if it was awoken, there's a good chance that humanity would be done for. With little chance of harming the Great One, we would most likely either be destroyed, driven mad, or enslaved. So let's all cross our fingers and hope that this is, in fact, just a myth. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was...
Okay, let's go to the next video, which is really related. Yeah, let's just get right into the next video. So, the next video is about what if Azatoth was real. And if you don't know Azatoth is a deity, meaning a god, in the Cthulhu myths and dream cycle stories of writer H.P. Lovecraft and other authors. He is the ruler of outer gods. So apparently he's a character from Azatoth. The first recorded mention of Azatoth was in the note Lovecraft wrote to himself in 1919. 1919? Oh, what the hell? Azatoth, hideous name. Let's just get into the video. So, what if Azatoth was real? I don't know. Just see the video. Life's biggest questions. What the hell? One hour later. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Rob Mackenzie Lafergie. Azathoth is the blind idiot god from Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. Veiled in mystery, it's said that its long slumber allows our universe to keep on keeping on. But what if Azathoth was real? How would this affect our world as we know it? Let's explore. If you missed our video, What If Cthulhu Was Real? Check it out next. But first, get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if Azathoth was real? Azathoth is Lovecraft's version of the creator god, similar to the Abrahamic god found in the Bible or the Quran. The being is described in 1931's The Whisperer in Darkness as the monstrous nuclear chaos beyond angled space. It should be noted that in this case, it's believed nuclear referred not to nuclear energy, but rather to the nucleus of the cosmos. This is because nuclear energy was not an idea that would have been known to Lovecraft at the time. In terms of its appearance, there wasn't a huge amount of information given in the mythos. This is largely because Azathoth wouldn't be understood by mortal beings, since it's said to occupy a position outside of the universe. It is said that Azathoth remains in an eternal slumber like Cthulhu. However, when it awakes, Azathoth wouldn't start taking over worlds or driving people insane. Like Cthulhu, our universe would cease to exist, since we exist within its dreams. Of course, if Azathoth remained asleep, it's likely that the universe would be largely unaffected. The mythos describes Azathoth as being completely uninvolved in the way the universe functions. Not only does it not care about the many planets and creatures living within its dreams, it is completely unaware of their existence. This was part of the reason it's called the blind idiot god. However, some believe that even though Azathoth is unaware of our existence and doesn't consciously manipulate the universe, he can still influence it greatly. Many accounts hold that as Azathoth shifts and moves in its sleep, whole galaxies can be wiped out, and laws of physics can be turned on their heads. If the stability of the universe depended on the subconscious thoughts and movements of this god, it could be that the universe would be a very unpredictable place, even if the great god remained asleep. However, if Azathoth awoke, many believe that our universe as we know it would blink out of existence, no longer being sustained by the dreams of this great god. Some have related this to the story behind the Red King in Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass, who was believed by some to be the true dreamer in the story, rather than Alice. This idea of depending on the creator to remain asleep might sound rather terrifying at first, but when you think about it, this isn't particularly difficult from some understandings of the universe. If we look just at the Earth, we know that the Earth will eventually be engulfed by the Sun as it goes supernova. That's assuming we haven't destroyed it ourselves by then. Some even believe it likely that our universe will eventually blink out of existence, whether it's through the ending of a simulation or a return back to a singularity. However, the fact that Azathoth could wake up at any time makes this particular story even more troubling. It should be noted that while this is probably the most widely accepted theory as to what exactly Azathoth is, there are alternate interpretations of the god. Lovecraft was, after all, extremely vague in describing it. Some believe it to be a giant beast residing at the center of the universe as the king of gods. This is more comparable to a Greek or Roman pantheon, roughly equating Azathoth to Zeus or Jupiter, rather than the god of the Bible. Still, others believe that by claiming that the Cthulhu mythos exists within the dreams of Azathoth, that it was actually the reader who was Azathoth. By reading and thinking and dreaming about the world created by Lovecraft, we bring it to life in a way. By this definition, Azathoth does exist, since we humans exist, at least as far as we know. And now we return to our question, what if Azathoth was real? Well, if he remained asleep, there may not be a huge amount of change, since by some accounts it would be uninvolved in our universe. However, it's possible that interruptions in the dream or movements in its sleep could cause significant and unpredictable changes throughout the universe. And if it awoke, it would be so long, and thanks for all the fish. Our universe would be gone, and Azathoth would have the longest, most satisfying pee ever after such a long sleep. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. While you're down there, let me know what you would do if Azathoth
What do you mean by it would have the
was
longest
real. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Laferty with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest.
Well, I'm going to leave this episode here, guys. If you want to see more, hit that like button down below and comment down below. And see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.